The Japanese came in at 1:30 in the morning, caught us flat-footed in the harbor of Guadalcanal. We had just landed the Marines and had laid down a barrage of star shells to let them land. And so the first thing I knew, the ship shuddered and we took 2 torpedoes. Then 2 sailors got knocked out and I splashed water in their face. The water was coming in because this was a 16-inch shell that exploded. And they started up the ladder when the second 16-inch came through and picked me up and whirled me around and slammed me up against the bulkhead. This leg wound up here, and it was broken and crushed in several places. My spine was twisted. I figured I was done because the lockers and all of the bunks and everything were just piled up on top of me. And the water was rushing in, and these 2 sailors heard me and come back and took me out, lifted me, and I crawled up to the top deck, and the ship was like this. And I didn't have a life jacket. And a fellow came by and he said, "Take mine, I know where they're at, and I'm okay." So he put his on me. A few seconds later, he appeared with one on, and he pushed me into the water, and the machine gun started, and I picked up one across the arm, and then the lights went out, the ship was gone. I watched the captain dive off the bridge, and I fought sharks for about 3 hours. And a little later, a life raft bumped me in the back, and a couple of sailors pulled me into it. And it was a miracle. If you believe in God, they were hollering at me because they were thirsty from the salt water. They wanted rain. Well, it don't rain in the South Pacific except the monsoon. And I told the guy, I said, "You're crazy." He said, you claim you believe in God, now prove it. So I just looked up in simple faith and said, "Oh God, let it rain." Big black cloud came up, clap, thunder, lightning, and the rain came down with drops about that big. He just stood there, drunk in all of the water that he could grab as it came down. The next day, the destroyers picked us up. I laid on that deck at 122 degrees all day. I was like this, of course, swollen up. And they took me to the hospital ship. They took one look. He said, "It's got to come off at the hip." He said, "We're just not equipped with all of the men that have been," because the Canberra and the Australian Canberra and the Quincy were sunk along with us, and the Astoria was beached, and the Nashville was just on the outskirts, so they didn't even get into battle. Later on, I found out that the USS Washington and North Carolina battleships took them as they came out the other end of the Guadalcanal. They put me on a ship where they had an operating room, and the doctor pulled the leg out, and he looked at it, and he said, "You know, I've got an instrument in my bag that I might be able to save that leg." Basically, I'm going to drill a hole through here, and through here, and cut you from here to here, and wire up all the bones, and I don't have no morphine. And I said, "Well, do what you have to do." And so they said, "Okay." So I bit down on a tongue depressor when the drill started. And it was not electric, it was a hand drill. And passed out. And when I came in, blasted from here to here. And went to Auckland, New Zealand for 3 days. And then they put me on a troop transport to come back to San Diego. That tells you a little bit about my experience. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him.